What if I told you there's a country that endured Mongol invasions, strategically abandoned its own capital to defeat one of history's greatest generals, sold a territory that later became incredibly valuable, experienced a revolution that reshaped global politics, and once detonated the most powerful device ever created by humans? This is Russia, stretching across 11 time zones. Russia's history is filled with turning points that influenced not just one nation, but the entire world. Today, we re-exploring 10 fascinating and surprising historical moments that reveal how Russia became one of the most influential countries on Earth. Let's begin. Number 10. The Mongol era and the rise of Moscow. In the 13th century, forces of the Mongol Empire led by Batu Khan entered the lands of Kievan Rus. Over time, many principalities became tributary states under what became known as the Golden Horde. This period lasted for more than 2 centuries and significantly influenced political organization and military development in the region. During this era, Moscow gradually gained prominence. In 1480, under Ivan III, Moscow formally ended its tribute to the Mongol rulers. This moment marked a major step toward a centralized Russian state. Number 9. The Alaska Purchase. In 1867, the Russian Empire sold Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million. At the time, the region was remote and difficult to defend, especially after Russia's experience in the Crimean War. Russian leadership believed the territory might be vulnerable in future conflicts. Particularly with Britain, selling it to the United States reduced strategic risk. Decades later, Alaska proved to contain vast natural resources. What once seemed distant and impractical became economically significant. Number 8. The 1812 campaign and the defense strategy. In 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte led a massive army into Russian territory. After advancing toward Moscow, French forces entered the city, but found it largely evacuated. Fires broke out across parts of Moscow shortly after the occupation. Combined with supply shortages and the approaching winter, conditions became extremely difficult for Napoleon's forces. The campaign marked a turning point in European history and demonstrated how geography and strategy can determine the outcome of even the largest military expeditions. Number 7. The Romanov era. The Romanov dynasty began in 1613 and ruled Russia for more than 3 centuries. During this period, Russia expanded significantly in size and influence. Under leaders such as Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, the country modernized aspects of its military, government, and culture. In 1917, political upheaval brought an end to imperial rule. This transition marked the conclusion of the Romanov period and the beginning of a new chapter in Russian history. Number 6. The 1917 Revolution and Global Impact. In 1917, political movements led by Vladimir Lenin resulted in the establishment of a new government structure. This eventually led to the formation of the Soviet Union. The ideological changes that followed influenced political movements across Europe, Asia, and Latin America. For much of the 20th century, global politics were shaped by the balance between different economic and political systems. The effects of that transformation are still studied today in universities around the world. Number 5. Russia helped defeat Nazi Germany at an unimaginable cost. During World War II, known in Russia as the Great Patriotic War, Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa in 1941, invading the Soviet Union. The fighting on the Eastern Front was the deadliest in human history. The Battle of Stalingrad alone killed over 1 million people. By the end of the war, the Soviet Union had lost an estimated 27 million people, soldiers and civilians combined. It was sacrifice on a scale almost impossible to comprehend, but that sacrifice played a decisive role in defeating Hitler. Number 4. Russia tested the most powerful nuclear weapon ever created. In 1961, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union detonated the Tsar Bomba over the Arctic. It was the most powerful nuclear explosion in history, about 50 megatons. The blast was so strong that windows shattered hundreds of miles away. The mushroom cloud reached over 60 kilometers into the sky. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a message to the world. Number 3. Russia spans 11 time zones. Russia is the largest country on Earth, stretching across Europe and Asia. It spans 11 time zones, more than any other nation. You can watch the sunrise in Vladivostok while people in Moscow are still asleep. The sheer scale of Russia has shaped everything, from its defense strategies to its culture and identity. It's not just a country, it's a continent-sized civilization. Number 2, St. Petersburg was built on a swamp with massive human cost. When Peter the Great founded St. Petersburg in 1703, he wanted a window to Europe. He forced thousands of laborers to build the city on swampy land. Harsh conditions, disease, and forced labor caused massive suffering. Yet today, St. Petersburg stands as one of the most beautiful cities in the world, filled with grand palaces and canals. Behind the beauty lies a brutal beginning. And finally, number 1. The Soviet Union collapsed almost overnight. In 1991, the Soviet Union, one of the 2 global superpowers, dissolved. 15 independent countries emerged. For millions, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath their feet. An empire that rivaled the United States simply vanished. Economic chaos followed. Political power shifted. A new Russia was born, still wrestling with its identity, its past, and its place in the world. And that's what makes Russia so fascinating. It's a nation forged by invasion and resilience, by revolution and reinvention, by collapse and comeback, from Mongol domination to nuclear superpower, from czars to communists to a modern federation. Russia's history isn't just shocking, it's relentless. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the most shocking historical facts about Russia, make sure to like, share, and follow for more untold history from around the world. Because the past isn't dead, it's waiting to be uncovered.